In this video we show how you can create a button that opens up a pop-up window that is positioned relative to the button. So if we look at this UX component over here, we see we have a button, and then underneath this button we have a window container, and the window itself has been defined as a drop-down style, and its position is going to be relative to the object that invoked it. So you can see here we've got a drop down right, and basically this means that the button is going to be positioned relative, the window is going to be positioned relative to the button that opens it. So if we go here and we run this this component and then click the button, we can see that the window opens up and the position of the window is relative to this button. But now let's say we'd like to actually do this inside a list control where we have buttons inside each row. The problem becomes a little bit more difficult because you need to specify the relative position of the window. So first let's understand how this was achieved over here. So if we go back to this button over there and look at the action that opened it, you can see that we have an action over here. We've got run action, and if we look at this action, we can see that the action that we're running is called the open window action, and then we've basically checked this property here that says pass in a reference to the object that invoked the action. And if we look at the JavaScript that got generated, we see the standard JavaScript run action to run the open window action, but we're passing in a second optional parameter here called this, which is a pointer to the button that opened up, that invoked the action. So let's go and now just quickly take a look at the action JavaScript. So there's the open window action, and this action just simply executes the action to display a window, and the window of course has an ID of window 1. So now in order to basically use that same pattern in the list itself, we can see that it's necessary for the button in the list, when we press this button in the list, to pass in a pointer, a reference to this actual button itself. So if we go there and we run any of these buttons, we can see that the window is opening up correctly relative to the button. So before we go any further, let's take a look in Firebug and see what the ID of this button is. So if I go there and, for example, click on that button over there and then look at it, I can see that there's a naming convention here for the button. It's dialog1, which is the alias of the component, .list1, which is the name of the list, and then menu window, which is the name that we gave to the button in the list builder, .button, and then .to, which is the zero-based row number. So let's just copy that to the clipboard now. And then if we go into the list itself and then go over to the button over there, so there's the button. So you can see that the button has a name of menu window. And now let's go take a look at the on-click event over here. So the on-click event is going to close the window if it's currently open. So we just call the close window, passing in the name of the window. And now we need to get a reference to the button itself. So if I'm just going to paste in the code that I copied to the clipboard, you can see there it's dialog1.list1.menuWindow.button and then .to. So dialog1, I'm going to just use the placeholder dialog component name. So there's the placeholder over there. Then for the list name, I'm going to use dialog.listID, which is again referenced over there. Then of course here's just the menu, the name of the button, and then .button, and then .row number gives me the row number of the row that the button was in, that I clicked. So this is going to basically give me the ID of the button. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So now that we have the ID of the button that we clicked, we can get a pointer to that element by just using the $sign operator, which is the Alpha Anywhere JavaScript libraries shortcut for document.getElement by ID. And then when we run the action, we pass in the second optional argument, which is a pointer to the button or the element that invoked the action. So here we pass in LE as an optional second argument, and now when we run the component, you can see that when I click on the button, the window is opened up relative to this button because we've passed in a pointer to the button. Thanks very much for watching.